The NXT Universe was introduced to the dangerous Asuka. Bayley and Sasha Banks had another Match of the Year candidate. And in what was probably my favorite moment of the night,
NXT Universe seems to like him.
My name is Eric Dante, and this is a recap of NXT TakeOver Respect. In the opening match, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe took on the Mechanics in the semi-final of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. For the majority of the match, the Mechanics were working over Finn Balor's leg. They used a couple of sweet tag team moves like a draping elbow drop off the second rope, which looked really cool. Eventually, Samoa Joe was able to get the hot tag, cleared house. Samoa Joe hit the muscle buster, allowing Finn Balor to hit his coup de grace off the top rope, getting the pin and moving on to the finals. It was a good opening match, very fast-paced, but I was a little disappointed because I was hoping that the Mechanics would move on to the finals and eventually win the tournament, but at least they looked strong. They didn't look like a jobber tag team, and I'm sure they'll move on and have a successful run after this pay-per-view. In the second semifinal of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, Rhino and Corbin took on Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. And if it wasn't for the main event, this would have been my match of the night. The crowd was on fire the entire match, chanting for Jordan, chanting for Gable on multiple occasions. As you saw in the beginning, they were singing Gable's name to Kurt Angle's theme music, which was awesome. The match started off with Rhino and Corbin working over Gable. He was able to make the hot tag to Jordan, who hit a couple of really sweet standing drop kicks. Once Gable was back in the ring, he hit this sick rolling German suplex.
Gable for the victory! Oh my... Oh!
The finish came with Gable running towards Corbin, and Corbin using that momentum to kind of get him in a tilt-a-whirl into a end of days, really cool finish. And as much as I dislike Corbin's character, I have to respect him for the performance he put on in this match. He looked really good. Same thing with Rhino and same thing with Jordan and Gable. Those four put on a great match. And again, if it wasn't for the main event, this would have been my match of the night for the performances and for the crowd. The crowd was just on fire. In the first singles match of the night, Dana Brooke took on the debuting Asuka. The match opened with Asuka extending her hand to shake Dana Brooke's hand, and Dana Brooke denying her by slapping it out of the way. Mistake number one. Later on in the match, Dana Brooke actually pats Asuka's head the way that she pats Devin the interviewer's head. This is mistake number two. Asuka spends pretty much the entire match just kicking the shit out of Dana Brooke. And to Dana Brooke's credit, she looked really good taking all those moves, all those different strikes and submissions. She looked pretty good. At one point, Emma got up to the apron and she was met with a spinning back fist, which looked really good as well. The finish came with Asuka hitting a running knee, or like a running shining wizard, and eventually locking on the crossface chicken wing, which she calls the Asuka lock. Overall, a really good debut for Asuka, and props to Dana Brooke. She took that beating. She looked good selling. She got some good offense in. And if you remember Dana Brooke when she first debuted, I think everybody unanimously hated her because she was so terrible, and she's improved so much over the last few months. So props to her and to Emma. They look good taking that beating. In the second singles match of the night, Apollo Crews took on Tyler Breeze. Both guys actually looked pretty good in this match. It wasn't the one-sided beatdown that I thought it was going to be. Tyler Breeze got some good offense in. He threw, early on in the match, he threw Apollo into that LCD board. The finish came when Apollo Crews lifted up Tyler Breeze kind of into a back suplex position and tossed Tyler midair into a powerbomb. It looked really cool. I'm pretty stoked that Apollo has a new finisher because the guy's built like a powerhouse. He should have a powerful move, and that one looked really good. In the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe took on Rhino and Corbin. The first half of the match saw Corbin and Rhino working over Samoa Joe, trying to soften them up. Eventually, Samoa Joe got the hot tag to Finn Balor, who hit a running drop kick. And the finish came when Balor gets the hot tag to Joe, who clears house and eventually hits the Muscle Buster, setting up another coup de grace. And your winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic are Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. At the end of the match, the Rhodes family came down to present the trophy to Balor and Joe, and they had a nice little moment with Cody giving a speech dedicating the tournament to his father and congratulating Balor and Joe on their win. And in the main event of NXT TakeOver Respect, Bayley defended her NXT Women's Championship against Sasha Banks in a 30-minute Iron Man match. This entire match was just absolutely vicious. Both women just completely went for it. At one point, Sasha Banks actually grabs Bayley and throws her headfirst into the steel steps, and then follows that by throwing Bayley into the LCD boards near the entrance. It was insane. In the heel move of the night, Sasha actually goes up to Izzy, who is Bayley's biggest fan, takes her headband, goes back to the ring, makes fun of Bayley as she's being counted out, and then throws the headband back at the little girl Izzy. That was crazy. The finish came when Sasha Banks had Bayley in the bank statement. She eventually reversed the bank statement, turning it into kind of like a modified Rings of Saturn, and then just completely wrenched back on the hand while stomping Sasha Banks in the head until Sasha Banks had to give up. At the end of the match, the entire roster cleared out to congratulate Bayley and Sasha Banks. Triple H and Stephanie had a bouquet of flowers for both women. It was just a great feel-good moment, a great ending to this feud. And that was NXT TakeOver Respect. Overall, a really solid pay-per-view. I enjoyed every match. I was a little disappointed with the outcome of the tag team tournament, but that's okay because all the teams ended up looking really good anyways. Asuka had an incredible debut. She looked like a killer, and I'm really looking forward to her future matches. And Bayley and Sasha Banks had another instant classic match and another match of the year candidate. So what did you guys think about NXT TakeOver Respect? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite match? Let me know in the comments below. And once again, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, feel free to click the subscribe button below. Follow me on Twitter at WRECAP Show. And I'll see you guys at the next pay-per-view.